With the invention of the plastic fishing baits came a lot of fish being put in the boat, let me tell you. Freshwater, you got largemouth, smallmouth bass, you got walleye, muskies with the big plastics, pike, all species. You got saltwater, you got stripers, tons of saltwater fish you can catch with plastic baits. They work really good. The problem with plastic is it's very soft as compared to a hard bait, which is very hard, it lasts forever. So these plastic baits start to rip apart. Here's a beaver style bait. It's got a rip in it from the hook where it comes out. It's got a rip in the end here like that. Soft stick baits are notorious, especially a Senko, because they're so soft. What'll happen with these guys, this is a brand new one, but what happens is when you put your hook in the front, bring it out, a little slit, something like that happens. And worse yet, where the hook goes in, after you set the hook on a fish, something like that happens. I bet you got a bunch of soft stick baits with that problem. Well, I'm gonna give you two ways to try and fix that. One, it's a glue, but it's not really a glue. It's called Mend It. What it actually does, it's an agent that fuses the plastic together, okay? The other is a good old torch lighter. Now this torch is an intense little flame. Butane is very, very hot, but you can melt it with that too. Problem with this, a lot of times it's windy like today, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a very good one to do at your house in the garage. If you want an alternative to buying a $40 lighter, which you don't really need, go to the dollar store, pick you up a little torch lighter like that. Hear it? You can hear that. Out in the boat, I wouldn't use it on a windy day like this out in the boat, but I always keep them with you because it'll save your day. Split. I got no crazy glue, so I'm gonna try and weld it together. Gonna hold for one more fish for sure. Beautiful. We'll go with this Mend It. Okay, this stuff comes in two bottles. This is the big bottle. There's a smaller bottle on that. It's expensive, but it lasts forever. Okay, unscrew lid. It's got a little brush on it. And let me tell you something like that. When you're out and you've only got, let's say this red's working really good on smallmouth. Oops, did I say that? Sorry, Ange. This red's working really good on smallmouth, and you're running low. You're out, you have no more left. You just take this Mend It, and you just run it in that slit like that, both sides, make sure both sides are covered. You can hold it together with your fingers. The beauty of this stuff, as compared to crazy glue or super glue, I guess you'd call it, is that this is not a glue. Super glue right now, if I did that, my fingers would be stuck to this bait for a long time. I'd have plastic all over my hands. With this stuff, it's not a glue. It mends. It actually fuses this plastic together. And what it does, it's kind of heating, or some kind of chemical reaction. You know, I'll hold it for about 15, 20 seconds, then just sort of let it sit in the cool air. Don't drop it in the water if you can help it for a little bit, at least for a minute or two, because these baits are porous as well, and they'll suck in water, so you don't want water in there. So after that, it's sitting pretty good. As it's drying, I'll hit this side here too. A lot of times these are halfway through or even more. And all you gotta do, and you can do these at home too. That's why you shouldn't be throwing your baits overboard anyways. Number one, you throw these baits overboard when they're wrecked. Like that, the fish will try and eat them. Eventually, it'll stay in their guts forever. And number two, you can take them home and try and fix them. So if I might cut, there's my little slit right there, like that. Keep it open like that. This heat will work too. If you use the heat gun on that, it'll work too. But look, see where my fingers are? You gotta be real careful, because you're gonna hit that with the heat, you're gonna burn your fingers. It's such an intense heat. So it's much better if you can use this glue, mending, whatever you wanna call it, fusion method. Turn it over so that it's got some pressure on it. Just hold it like that, another 10 seconds, whatever. And do the same thing with the flame. After you hit it, you'll notice that you want it to fuse together in the position you want. If there's a glob, sometimes with the flame, there's a glob of plastic, don't worry about it. It's not gonna stop the fish, but if you wanna cut it off, you can trim it off afterwards. It might be a little rim because it's really melted, because that flame is intense, like that. And after, eventually that bait, it's probably already good now. It's already good. And I mean, I let it sit a little longer, but it's already fused together at the top end and in the middle. So I'll tell you what, when you're out on the water and you run low, you're running low, or you have no more, and you know there's fish biting, that can save your day. One more tip is, once your baits are euchred, okay, that bait is euchred now, okay, they're supposed to hang, double hang like that. They're supposed to have all kinds of appendages that hang. Obviously this needs an opposite appendage. That one's gone. On this one, the little side ones are gone. These are two different brands, but again, you're gonna throw these in the garbage. Normally you would throw it in the garbage. Here's a little trick for you too. take your scissors or a really sharp knife, but I'd highly recommend scissors. Usually there's a ridge going down these baits. Take and cut straight down. Straight down. So you want it kind of as neat as possible. And you're saying, what are you doing here, Bowman? But trust me on this one. If you're running low on drop shot baits, there's a perfect little drop shot bait. You nose hook it there, get the tail section on it, and trust me, this little sucker will work just as good as any other drop shot bait, and you're not wasting it. Show you on the other one here, I got the broken beaver. It's got no more side appendages. So there's the normal one, side appendages, and these guys. This guy's lost all that, so why not make a drop shot bait out of it, right? Use the ridge as a guide. Take your scissors. Good to have a pair of scissors on the boat no matter what. You're gonna try and go as best you can dead center. Right there. Work my way down. There. 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 Try to be careful. Go right between the eyeballs here. There. And there. Look at that. 2 drop shot baits now. Trust me on this, folks. These things, you set that on a drop shot rig and throw that at a smallmouth bass, and as dumb as they look, they will work. A couple little tips for you. Save some money, save some baits.